It's a big weekend ahead. Middlesbrough away, Sheffield United at home. Don't think it could have been scripted any better. What are your thoughts ahead of the weekend?
Yeah, the two toughest game we could have in the division, and I just hope the players. I think the players are looking as much forward to it as myself and the coaching staff are, and hopefully the fans as well. And they're always good games.
Is Lyle Foster back in the group? Is his passport problem sorted?
He finally has arrived, yes.
We'll leave it at that. It's a busy period, 2 games in 4 days. Do you have to manage game time? Will you be forced into making changes, do you think?
I mean, we knew that this was the last real clear week we was going to get, and now it's, like I said, back to championship fixtures. Look, we're used to having to adapt the squad every now and then. So I do expect that we'll have to use more players again. But first things first, we got the game on Friday, and after that we'll assess and see what we need to do for Monday.
You'll know Michael Carrick well. You'll have played against him a few times in Manchester derbies. Did you always think he was going to be a top coach, top manager?
He's always had the characteristics, right? He was a leader. He was a positive leader for his team, I think, as well. You can see he's got a very calm head on his shoulder and a tremendous amount of knowledge that he's gained over the years. So to be able to translate it into something for others, which is for his players, that's always a hard thing to do. But he was kind of, if someone was going to do it, then he would have been the one. And yeah, it's always good to see managers do well. And I'm sure that'll be he'll think the same. But we're not playing against each other anymore, right? It's the players that have to do it still.
You've been involved in some exciting conclusions to Premier League seasons. Yeah. I wonder if that helps you and the team now.
You draw on your experiences, so. Look, sometimes you have the experience, sometimes you don't. In my case, it's something I've been privileged to experience quite a lot, and I definitely transmit it to the players. I think in terms of the mindset, in terms of the approach of these weeks, and it's not easier because we've got these 2 very important games against the 2 strongest teams in our division, together with us. But there's a mindset you need to have in a final stages of a competition that that's something I can obviously communicate to the players.
Vincent, thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Vincent, you've got a very young, talented, I guess ambitious squad over the river there. What's the mood like in the dressing room? I mean, there was talk weeks ago, we tried to talk about promotion and you sat on that very quickly, but I mean, they're nearly there now, aren't they?
Yeah, look, I can't stop them feeling what they're going to feel now, but I mean, like I said in the past, what I've learned from being in these situations is usually it gives you an emotional high. So it's not something I want to kill either, something that actually makes you perform better. And I hope that going into the game on Friday, we'll just think of winning that game rather than anything else. But if we've had a positive week going into that game, then it's not something I need to stop. The focus, though, from our side as a coaching staff is as simple as it is. It's like we just want to make sure we've prepared for that game like we've prepared for every game this season.
And when you look back, I mean, that first win at Huddersfield, July the 29th, could you ever have imagined possibly being promoted by Easter?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not something you can plan for like that. You make a plan over 3 or 4 years, and then hopefully you keep progressing and you achieve your goal at the end. But it wasn't, and still I have to bring it back to the game tomorrow. That's everything that happened before, everything that happens after, really important for us is to focus on this game tomorrow. I want to see, personally, I'd love to be able to be a reflection of our season until the end of the season, and we can't take anything lightly. We won't.
And it's your birthday this weekend, isn't it? 37 on Monday?
Yeah.
Extra special reason to go up then?
Yeah. Do you know what? It's actually given me a good excuse to not be at a birthday party for me. So I'm not too displeased.
Can I also ask you about the news today? It's looking like Frank, who I think you must have played with at Manchester City, looks like he's going back in at Chelsea for a short while. What do you make of that? Are you pleased that an old teammate of yours has got another chance?
I know Frank as a person as well, so it's just, it's someone that's knowledgeable. It's someone with a good heart, with a good character. And for him to be in a job, of course, I'm going to be happy for him. And I don't know what you said interim.
Yes.
Well, from my side, I always say long may it last, So definitely in my time as a player, he was someone that I also looked up to. So, it's good that he gets a job.
And what do you make of the Premier League yet again? Probably since we last talked to you, even more managers have lost their jobs. Yeah. You're getting linked inevitably with every position going. Is that unsettling a little bit?
For me, no way. I really, I'm not busy with that. I'm not occupied about anything like this. And for the guys who've been here before, it's not even something I'm going to entertain discussing ever. But the key part about so many managers losing their jobs, I think in the end, the interesting question to ask is, would any other business operate this way? And so what's the logic for it in football? I'm not saying that someone can't underachieve, and if you underachieve that there are consequences. I'm not saying that you can make decisions. You can't make decisions, but in the end, if you compare it with any other industry, would it happen the same way? So what's the reason why in football we just seem to be so trigger happy? It's just a question.
And you'll be right into that melting pot next season, but I guess you can't even afford to let that distract you, can you?
Not with the two games we have now. Like when you play against Middlesbrough and Sheffield United, they're the equivalent of they're the top teams in our division. There's not a lot of difference between us, so it's the last thing on my mind now. I'm just wanting to navigate those two games well, and then whatever comes after, we'll see.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Morning, Vinny.
Morning.
Just on Jay Rodriguez, is he now closing in on being contention to be back in the match day 18?
Still can't give too much more information. It's nothing that we have to worry about, but he's not fit yet.
With obviously the busy period that you do have, I think it's 7 games this month that you've got, and having a near fully fit squad at your disposal, how it's come at the right time for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't have wanted it any better for the run-in, to have the squad available and pushing to get game time. And I think I've explained very clearly as well to the boys that you can look at one game and think, why am I not playing? But I think history's told us in this league that eventually your time comes, and it's important to have everyone pushing for this very special goal we have. It's something unique. But I feel that the squad is really up for that. So having so many players available now it's important for us.
What have you made of the job Michael Carrick has done at Middlesbrough, and really the transformation that he's got them into the position that they are in now?
Yeah, do you know what? It's not something I've done before, but arriving in a team mid-season, I can imagine it's quite a complicated thing to do, and it's not really seemed as if he's gone mid-season. It feels like straight away that he was able to hit it off with the team he had, and yeah, they've got some really exciting players, that they've also recruited in the winter. I think it's a combination of being able to get up and running straight away. It's a combination of doing a good recruitment job during the winter. I think it's been a very complete. It's been very complete what he's been able to do in the time he's been there.
On Josh Cullen and his form this season, he's basically been first choice in central midfield throughout his time here. How pleased have you been with his development over the course of the season, and how key was you having him at Anderlecht and knowing what you were going to get from him to bringing him here?
Yeah, it's difficult to imagine a player who epitomizes, having high standards and living for the job more than him, and I don't really want to be complimenting for the sake of it, but the reality is that he's always kind of arrived. Even at Anderlecht, he wasn't first choice, and he kind of gets on with his job, and he manufactures himself in a position where he becomes important for the team, and he's one of the very few players who puts a team before himself, and I can appreciate that in terms of how rare that is in football, So yeah, he's doing well. I hope he's gonna keep developing and get better, and yeah.
Nathan Teller's been nominated for the Championship Player of the Month for March. I've been looking back at his stats, and he's now played as many games for you as he has during his entire time at Southampton.
Really?
Has playing him, just getting regular game time for him, has that been one of the keys to just his development this season?
Yeah, I think there's a couple. I think there's an age band in which you really got to prioritize your game time, and without game time, your development will be slowed down. So I'm not saying that you can't have a season where you're observing and being on the bench and making your way into a squad, but eventually between the age of say 18 and 24, you need to start accumulating game time to improve, and then things can happen. And I think that's what happened with Nathan. He's just started to play, and then obviously he learns, he gets better, and the fact that he's scoring goals is only a very small part of his game. He's offered so much to us.
Just a final one from me. Of course, you're not there yet. You're in touching distance of promotion. But bearing in mind the summer that you came to the club and there was such a big turnaround in the squad and the players that you had to recruit and the players that left. Just how big a job was that for you when you reflect on it now, and you can imagine how well it's gone?
I think we'll have time to reflect on it in the next few weeks. But I've said it before. I've been open about it. We'd be lying if we said that this is what we hoped for. It just happened, and but we don't take anything for granted. We're not over the line yet, and as well, I think we have to finish the season the way we've been this season, and that for me is the priority now, and to go into the summer with a feeling that we are ready for whatever the next challenge is. But we'll get some time to look back at it in the next few weeks, I hope.
Thank you, Vinny. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.